Hey everyone, we've got a huge winter storm heading straight for the United States over the next few days. And this one is shaping up to be a major event. We're talking about heavy snowfall, significant ice accumulation, and even the threat of severe weather in some areas. On top of that, we're also tracking a massive Arctic blast that's going to bring the coldest temperatures we've seen in parts of the US since 2021. The storm has been shifting southward in the latest forecast updates, and it's going to create widespread travel problems, power outages, and dangerous conditions. So in today's forecast, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about this storm, where it's going, how much snow and ice to expect, and the latest updates as this system continues to develop. Now, let's start with what's already happening across the country. Right now, we've got snow starting to fall in parts of the Central Plains as moisture from the Pacific collides with energy moving in over the Rocky Mountain. This is exactly the setup we're watching for, and as we go into tomorrow, the storm is going to rapidly intensify over the Central and Southern Plains, producing a lot of snowfall across these areas. Meanwhile, over on the East Coast, things are relatively quiet today. Most areas are just dealing with sunshine and colder temperatures, but that won't last for long. A new winter storm is set to arrive by Wednesday, bringing snow, showers, and even some thunderstorms to parts of the region. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Before we get into the details of the upcoming storm, I do want to touch on the severe weather we just had. Our last system, which moved through on Sunday, ended up producing about a dozen tornadoes across the Tennessee Valley and Dixie Alley. And just today, we got confirmation that Mississippi was hit by an F3 tornado on Wednesday, making it the strongest tornado of the year so far. If you were watching the channel that day, we were covering this live as it happened. This tornado had maximum sustained winds of 150 MPA and caused significant damage to buildings in eastern Mississippi. The good news is that there were no fatalities, but this was definitely a major event. Now, let's get into the latest updates on this upcoming winter storm, because there have been some big changes in the last 24 hours. The National Weather Service has issued winter storm warnings for a huge area stretching from Kansas and Oklahoma all the way into Kentucky and Tennessee. On top of that, we have winter weather advisories reaching as far north as Montana and South Dakota, and even dipping down into North Texas. Meanwhile, winter storm watches are now in effect for North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware, where we're expecting a combination of significant snowfall and ice accumulation. As we go into tonight, light to moderate snow will begin to fill in across central Illinois and northern Kansas, but the real action starts tomorrow morning. By then, we'll have snowfall spreading from Kentucky all the way back into eastern Colorado. At the same time, freezing rain will begin developing in southern Oklahoma, while areas further south like Texas will just be dealing with regular cold rain. This storm is going to intensify rapidly throughout the day, and because it's moving slowly, we're going to see some areas get buried under heavy snowfall for an extended period of time. By the time we get into tomorrow afternoon, heavy snowfall will be ongoing across southern Missouri, southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and northern Arkansas. At the same time, freezing rain will become a serious problem across North Texas, southeastern Oklahoma, and Arkansas, while areas in East Texas and Louisiana mostly see just cold rain. Once we go into the overnight hours, the system will shift east, bringing moderate to heavy snow into the Tennessee Valley. Freezing rain could reach as far south as northern Louisiana and Mississippi, which is a major concern for travel since most roads in these areas won't be treated for ice. By the time we get into Wednesday morning, snowfall will continue across Kentucky and Tennessee, though it will be weakening slightly. However, we could still see light freezing rain impacting parts of northern Georgia, northern Alabama, and central Mississippi. Then, by Wednesday afternoon, the storm will re-intensify as it moves into the mid-Atlantic, bringing heavy snowfall and ice to North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, and parts of Maryland and Delaware. Some areas in this region could pick up 5 to 10 inches of snow, while others will be dealing with significant ice accumulation due to cold air damming, which is a pretty common setup for winter storms in this part of the country. Let's talk about snowfall totals. The Central Plains and Tennessee Valley are going to get hammered with snow, and we're expecting a widespread area of at least 5 inches stretching from central Kansas to southern Illinois and western Kentucky. Some localized areas, especially in southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and southwestern Missouri, could see as much as 12 to 15 inches of snow. One of the hardest hit locations will likely be Joplin, Missouri. For ice accumulation, we're looking at a glaze to about 1/10 of an inch in areas like northern Texas, central and southern Oklahoma, and central and southern Arkansas, including Little Rock. Some areas in northern Mississippi and Louisiana will also see freezing rain, making travel extremely dangerous. And because temperatures will be below freezing through Wednesday and Thursday, this ice isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Now, let's talk about this Arctic blast because it is brutal. By Tuesday morning, temperatures across the northern plains, Midwest, and central plains will be 30 to 50 degrees below normal. As we head into Wednesday, that bitter cold will expand, and some places will be 50 degrees below average during the afternoon. By Thursday morning, this frigid air mass will reach all the way down to the Gulf Coast, bringing record-breaking low temperatures to several states. For actual temperatures, some areas in the Midwest and northern plains will drop to 30 def or lower, and that's not even counting wind chills. North Texas will see single-digit temperatures, and even the Gulf Coast will be below freezing on Thursday morning. And yes, you heard that right. Falling WINOs in Florida could be an issue Friday morning with wind chills as low as 15 to 25 dec in some areas. Let's take a look at what the radar could look like early tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on Tuesday, February 18th, and already we'll be seeing light to moderate snow breaking out across Nebraska, Kansas, and into southern Illinois and Indiana. There will be some frozen precipitation in north central Oklahoma, possibly freezing rain, which will intensify through the afternoon. By Tuesday evening, expect heavy snow in southeastern Kansas, northern Oklahoma, and again, likely some significant icing. We'll also see some convective freezing rain showers in Arkansas around Fort Smith around 6 p.m. Tuesday, then heavy snow moving into western Kentucky and western Tennessee by 11 p.m. Memphis will probably see some snow overnight, and Nashville will start getting snow early Wednesday morning. Lexington, Kentucky, and Knoxville, Tennessee will also see heavy snow around 5:00 a.m. Wednesday, and Charleston, West Virginia will be dealing with the snow around the same time. And we could even see snow as far south as northern Alabama near Huntsville during the early morning hours of Wednesday. Meanwhile, we're also keeping an eye on the potential for severe weather down south tomorrow. We've got a marginal risk of severe weather from Houston to New Orleans. Damaging winds are the main concern, but there's also a slight chance of isolated tornadoes. We'll talk more about that shortly. Down in Texas and Louisiana, while snow and ice are affecting places like Arkansas and Missouri, stronger storms will be developing late Tuesday in East Texas and southern Louisiana. These storms could continue into Wednesday morning, bringing strong winds and possibly some hail, along with a very isolated tornado risk in the Florida Panhandle and extreme southern Alabama. Let's talk snow totals. Southeastern Kansas and southwestern Missouri will likely see over 6 inches of snow. Kansas City, you're looking at a solid 4 to 6 inches. Places like Coffeyville and Pittsburgh in southeastern Kansas might see up to 10 inches. Wichita will likely get 3 to 6 inches, and areas along the I-44 corridor, including Joplin and Springfield, could see 6 to 10 inches. Some areas in central Missouri could even get over 10 inches. Newest is looking at 2 to 4 inches, while Memphis and Nashville are in that same 1 to 3 inch range. Lexington and Louisville, you're looking at about 2 to 4 inches of snow too. All right, let's get back to the weather. As we move into Thursday, the storm will continue to the east. Places like Lexington, Kentucky are still a little uncertain with snow totals, but we'll likely see some lake-enhanced snow showers in Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee throughout Thursday. The biggest concern in the Carolinas will be freezing rain and sleet, possibly turning into an ice storm in parts of North Carolina and northern South Carolina. Expect some hazardous travel and power outages, particularly between Charlotte and Raleigh and down toward Fayetteville. As we look ahead after this storm, the pattern will settle into a more stable phase with a big ridge building in the west. This will bring warmer temperatures to the West Coast, especially Southern California and Arizona. The central U.S. will stay near normal for now, but the Southeast will hold on to those below average temperatures until closer to March. By the end of February, we should start seeing a shift in the pattern with warmer temps moving eastward. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe and take care.